Okay, thanks for your patience. Welcome everyone to our third session. Um, my name is Ken Arenik. I'm from the College of DuPage, and I'll be serving as a co-moderator for the session. Our session's co-moderator, Jill King from DePaul, will be helping with the chat questions and such. So appreciate everyone being here. The session title is Teaching Collaborations, Utilizing Library Resources to Redesign an Undergraduate Chemistry Course. And our presenters today are Carl R. Andrews, Assistant Professor and Reference and Instruction Librarian from Bronx Community College, and Dickens St. Hilaire, Assistant Professor of Chemistry at the Bronx, also from Bronx Community College in New York City. And I've been asked to frame the presentation conversation by reading the abstract. The general chemistry Chem 1-2 was first offered in the spring of 2011. This course replaced the other course, Chem 22, General Chemistry 2 with Qualitative Analysis. The chemistry course had been classified as a high-risk class because of the number of students who withdrawn and failed. During the spring 2016 semester, the passing percentage for the Chem 12 class was just below 54%, and the withdrawal rate was 37.4. In the spirit of supporting Bronx Community College's 35 times 65 campaign, a campus-wide initiative that aims to increase BCC's graduation rate to 35% by its 65th anniversary in 2022, and in the interest of improving retention and graduation rates in ASAP and STEM students, Professors Dickens St. Hilaire, Chemistry, and Carl Andrews, Library, have partnered to implement a number of teaching and learning strategies to enhance the course and improve student engagement. This grant-funded project involves adding hands-on activities, a library research component, academic support from peer mentors, a field observation assignment, and membership to the American Chemical Society. These activities promote critical thinking, professional development, scholarly communication, and undergraduate research. So I will be adding some documents into the chat as we go through the presentation towards the end. There will be a Q&A at the end of the session. The presenters ask that you add questions to chat. Without further ado then, I'll turn it over to our presenters.
Professor St. Hilaire, that's your slide.
Yes, okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is Dickens St. Hilaire. I'm a chemistry professor at Bronx Community College. We're going to talk about the ACS guideline for the chemistry for two-year colleges. The common outcome of general chemistry should include knowledge of basics chemicals concepts, strength in quantitative problem solving, preparations for higher level courses, maturations of students, knowledge of chemistry, and applications of mathematical skills. Students can improve their chances of passing the Chem 12 class by adopting the following habits of mind. Take notes during lecture and labs, be on time for class, be more responsible with the workload, become an active learner, ask questions, participate in class. Read before coming to class, submit your assignment on time, practice better time management skills, try to become more organized, dedicate time to studying, take advantage of the peer mentors, office hours, and other campus resources. Next slide, please.
So how did all of this come to fruition? As I was introduced, my name is Carl Andrews, and I'm a reference and instruction librarian at Bronx Community College. We had, it was a grant proposal offered by Bronx Community College. We have a history. We're already working together on another collaborative project, and it was called the Bronx Community College High School Collaborative. And we both share an interest in college readiness, student retention, academic success, and working with communities of practice. We responded to the announcement that went out for the 2016-2017 STEM Faculty Development Grant, and we were awarded it. And so, we had been working together for quite some time.
Chemistry and library. We have a history of working together. As Michael just mentioned, we work on another project. The name of the project was Collaborative Project that deals with curricular revisions at the secondary levels. The project brought high schools and college librarians and educators to prepare students for college level research. That work was recently published in the peer review articles. Again, both of us passionate about supporting and improving academic success in students. Why chemistry and library? Both disciplines required students to engage in critical thoughts and research. Both STEM and library science involve inquiry-based learning, fact-checking, and investigations. Team teaching helps students make connections with entire curriculum. Students learn about the important role libraries play in college academics. The literature shows that more and more STEM faculty are working with the campus librarians to improve student learning and academic performance. Next slide, please.
So the problem, the Chem 12 course was officially designated at-risk course because of the consistent number of students who were failing. Students we discovered, were entering college without essential skills for academic success. Each semester, there are generally 4 sections of the Chemistry 12 course, and a significant number of those students do not meet the standards for passing because of the following issues. They are lacking mathematical and qualitative skills required for success for the Chem 12 class. They lack critical thinking skills. Professor St. Hilaire observed that professors must approach the lesson from multiple angles for students to understand concepts and theories. In other words, in K-12, they call it differentiated instruction. Students lack required reading and literacy skills. Believe it or not, we discovered that many students struggle with reading. And I think that there's a number of reasons because of that. And because of these skill deficiencies, each semester, a high number of students do not move on to the upper level chemistry courses. So Chem 12 is a prerequisite for Chem 31, Chem 32, and Chem 33. And a significant number of those students, and this has been recorded over the past semesters, end up having to retake the Chem 12 course because it is required for graduation. And when that happens, it impacts their financial aid, it affects their overall graduation rate of the college. And we thought we would try to do something to improve those numbers.
This graph shows the Chem 12 enrollment and pass withdrawal failure rate. The graph on the left is about the Chem 12 enrollment from spring 2011 to fall 2016. The graph on the right shows the statistics of the Chem 12 course. What I mean by statistics, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see in the graph, you can see the passing, the withdrawal, the failure rate from spring 2011 to fall 2016. Next slide, please. Now, we redesigned the chemistry 12 courses. Why? The reason is the chemistry 12 is considered at risk. Why is considered at risk? Because there are 37.4% join rate for the spring 2015 semesters with an enrollment of 91 students. The withdrawal rate has remained consistently high. We learned that students are lacking critical thinking, problem solving, and writing skills. Again, as Carl mentioned already, our Chem 12 is a prerequisite for several upper level courses. The faculty in the upper level chemistry course, like organic chemistry, chemistry 31, indicate that students are unprepared for the lab reports they are required to write, even after taking the Chem 12 course. The new syllabus will include a library research, adding writing research papers, fieldwork reports, PowerPoint presentations, peer mentors, fieldwork observations, and professional development. Now, the research in the writing and presentation topic of the Chem 12 redesign. Students will be tasked to conduct research, write a research paper, and develop a 10 minutes PowerPoint presentation on one of the topics listed below. Let me stop right here and say something. Those are the topics that we provide to the students. And I'm going to mention just a few, like the 3D printing, the chemical kinetics, the entropy, the free energy and the equilibrium, the green chemistry, the nanotechnology, the precipitations, reactions, solubility, and equilibrium. The students did not have to stick to the topic that was providing to them. They can choose any topic, but one thing that we mentioned to them, they have to choose a topic that is relevant to the content that we cover in Chem 12. Now, the old syllabus has a passing grade in both lecture and laboratory the student has to do in order to complete the course. In addition, all other components of the course must be fulfilled, including homework and writing assignment. The new syllabus, the current syllabus, all the syllabus for the Chem 12 redesign, a passing grade in both the lecture and the laboratory is required in order to successfully complete this course. All other components of the course must be fulfilled, including homework and any reading assignment. The Chem 12 course requirements also include the following. The research and the use of the BCC library, very important. Undergraduate research and scholarly activities, the fieldwork, required to work with peer mentors and engage in scholarly communications. I would like to mention the Chem 12 is a writing intensive courses. What does that mean? A writing intensive courses, students are required to complete 8 lab reports, a fieldwork write-ups, a reading review of scholarly journals articles, and 2.5 paper research. And also, BCC stands for Bronx Community College, writing across the curriculum. Definitions. A course section designated as writing intensive is a section of the course in which the above formal and informal writing assignments, writing intensive courses which are taught by faculty who have been trained in writing across curriculum techniques, included writing to learn activities such as journals, self-assessments, and formal papers.
So even though this is a chemistry class, it was a writing intensive class, and that allowed us to include a research paper, which let us use the library. Okay. So for the learning outcomes prior to us implementing this project, students were required to apply the principles and concepts of chemical kinetics, equilibria, thermodynamics, and electrochemistry to questions pertaining to the subject, solve problems in chemistry, engineering, and related fields, integrate scientific reading comprehension through qualitative and quantitative reasoning, analytical evaluation, interpreting data, and they should have the ability to draw conclusions. Also, communicate results in written and oral formats and through laboratory report work. Transform mathematical relationships to graphical representation and vice versa, and utilize modern chemical instrumentation for laboratory investigation. The revised learning outcomes, now that we've added a library component and we've revised the class or redesigned the class, what we proposed in our grant, when we submitted our grant proposal, we said that the learning outcomes would now include students would acquire stronger critical thinking skills for entry into organic chemistry, inquiry-based learning. We wanted students to get into the habit of becoming independent thinkers so that they can improve their research skills. We wanted students to be able to connect the work within a STEM-related career field. So we wanted them to make the connection between the classroom and the world of work. Recognizing the need for information, that's the information literacy, accessing information resources effectively and efficiently via the BCC library, and we made it mandatory for them to use just the library's resources for their research. Critically evaluating and questioning information and its sources. There's something called the CRAP website evaluation checklist. I have that handout. Most of you are librarians and may already be familiar with the CRAP website evaluation checklist. They're required to complete all writing assignments, have an understanding of the ethical use of information, of course, avoiding plagiarism, and developing soft skills. We thought this was important. So we wanted students to be able to improve their communication skills, their interpersonal, written, and verbal skills, and have familiarity with the professional organizations and scholarly communication. So when we say professional organization, we're referring to the American Chemical Society, which is a phenomenal resource for undergraduate students.
The grading for the all Chem 12 that we call the current Chem 12 includes quizzes 33%, homework 7%, lab 30%, and final exam 30%. The grading for the revise or the Chem 12 redesign includes quizzes 30%, homework 5%, lab 25%, final exam 30%, fieldwork 5%, or oral presentation 5%. Against the fieldwork, student will have several options to fulfill the fieldwork requirements. The interview professionals working in the chemistry industry, visit hospitals, local clinics, laboratories, police stations, veterinarians, the Environmental Protection Agency, pharmacies, and the medical examiner office.
So the fieldwork observation, a lot of students were a little reluctant at first because this isn't normally included in a Chemistry 12 course. But we took advantage of it and said that we would have students write for everything possible, and we wanted to engage students in multiple ways. So during the fieldwork observation, students were expected to obtain the following information. When they interviewed a professional, whether it be a nurse, whether it's someone working in a lab, we wanted students to list their job title and of the professional that they interviewed or they shadowed, provide name and contact information if it's provided, the name of the company, perhaps CVS Pharmacy, agency, I don't know, Lincoln Hospital, organization or industry that the professional is affiliated with. We wanted them to report what is the minimum education level, their salary range, the essential skills, duties and responsibilities. And then students, they were required to submit a one-page report for their observations. So it wasn't a lot of writing, but we wanted them to get out into the community, and we thought that this would be a good way to make the course more meaningful. Okay, so the American Chemical Society, they have a set of chemical information skills, like we have information literacy skills, and those are basically and we try to mesh all of this in to the new syllabus and all that the students are expected. So they were to efficiently locate chemical and physical properties of substances, including spectra, efficiently locate references for the detection, characterization, or reactions. Let's see here, including synthesis of desired compounds and or classes of compounds. Be able to obtain information on a substance through a variety of searching strategies, including structure searching and searching by molecular formula and name. Identify key references and use citation searching for articles to locate more current information or current articles on a particular topic of interest. Complete a comprehensive subject search. Compile a bibliography of authors' publications. Locate and review scholarly journal articles on an assigned topic, and use a bibliographic program to organize information and prepare a scientific paper. Now, it's important to note we weren't able to have the students do everything listed here, but we did everything that we possibly could to get students to perform one or more of these skills and demonstrate that they've mastered one or more of these skills. And as far as the bibliographic program, we referred our students to the Writing Center, both the library and the Writing Center, but we wanted students to get into the habit of utilizing the campus resources. So most of us for this is a librarians conference. And so I thought that I would mention what embedded librarianship is. Obviously it's a chemistry course. Professor St. Hilaire embedded me in his course and gave me team teaching or assistant teaching opportunities. And so I'm just going to read a general definition of what the embedded librarian is, but there's no blueprint for how that works. So the embedded librarian, the role of the embedded librarian can vary. Embedded librarians generally partner with teaching faculty or an academic department to infuse information literacy skills into the curriculum. Information literacy is a set of skills that challenges students to think critically about the information they may encounter doing research, or they may consider when they select resources for their research. We want them to adopt those habits of mind that gets them to question the authority, the accuracy, the relevance, the timeliness, the learning objectives of information literacy. And it's important to note, we did not refer to the ACRL framework at the time. We do now, but the learning objectives are based on the traditional definition: understanding one's own information needs in a given situation, locating appropriate information effectively, connecting new information and knowledge with that which a student already possesses, using information in order to meet a specific need, and understanding the reasons for both obtaining and using information in an ethical and lawful way. Okay.
The American Chemical Society guideline includes chemical information resources, long-term projects, problem solving and critical thinking skills, career preparations, and other non-academic institutions.
And so it's important, we want to make it, if anyone is interested in our slides, we can provide that. But at this time, I believe Ken is going to upload some of the documents that we're discussing. So obviously, yeah, the library's role in all of this, a part of this is introducing or reintroducing students to the library's databases. And many of you may be aware of a database company called Infobase. Within Infobase, there are several specialized databases that are just phenomenal for novice researchers. Health Reference Center, I think, is fantastic. Students can access encyclopedic information, peer-reviewed information. It behaves, Health Reference Center, Science Online, and Today's Science. Those are three databases that Bronx Community College subscribes through. That's a part of the Infobase package. I like them because they're engaging. They're like popular magazines in digital format. And they all include teaching and learning scaffolds. If students need to be reminded on how to avoid plagiarism, on how to write a research paper, it is one of the most essential databases that a community college can subscribe to.
Carl,
Yes.
I'd just like to interject that you have 15 minutes until the end of the presentation, so another 5 minutes or so for Q&A. Right. And also, I did upload all the documents and links into the chat.
This is great. And I know that some of the librarians out there, if they're coming from colleges or universities that subscribe, whose libraries subscribe to these databases, you know the value in them. Also, the whole idea of introducing students to the scholarly communications process. EBSCO hosts Gale Virtual Reference Library, which is simply now just called Gale eBooks, and JSTOR. Those were the three. We have a huge number of databases that we could have used for this project, but I thought that these three were really important in supporting college readiness, improving academics, and then helping students. It's very guided when you're searching. And they have citation tools, and the students were comfortable. By the end of the semester, they already knew just to go to the library, and they were familiar with EBSCO hosts, Gale Virtual Reference Library, and they were also familiar with JSTOR. Also, actually. I just wanted to say one more thing before Professor St. Hilaire. There's one database, and the handout has been uploaded, called PrepStep, and that's a part of the EBSCO package. And that database, students, users can actually practice all types of civil service exams. It's connected to Indeed.com if they want to use it to help look for a job, to help draft a cover letter or a resume. It is one of the most essential, all other databases are essential, but PrepStep is especially essential because it prepares students for continuing education and then, of course, the world of work. If students are interested in going into nursing or criminal justice or culinary arts, their practice exams in PrepStep. So it is just a wonderful, I could perhaps sell it. So yeah. All right, Professor St. Hilaire.
Okay, the peer mentors selected for this project will have a successful pass the Chem 12 class and have an interest. That's very important to have. They have interest in supporting the ASAP students as a the host just talk about the abbreviation for that. Students academically, the mentors will receive stipends for the work they do with the students for the duration of the semester. Now, I would like to elaborate on the budget. As you can see, everything is about, most of everything, money has to be involved in the budget. We spend $7,000 to use over 2 semesters, fall 2016 and fall 2018 to spring 2019. 44 students in total for 4 peer mentors in total. 2 peer mentors, the same 2 for both semesters. The majority of the funding went towards stipends of the peer mentors. As you can see in the budget, they were paid $15 an hour. The next large cost went towards ACS membership. The cost for undergraduate students is $28 per year to become ACS membership. Next slide, please. The member of the American Chemical Society, we pay $28 for the student to be able to have a membership. The American Chemical Society is one of the best resources for education and professional development for undergraduate students, professional networking, continuing education and career development. American Chemical Society publications benefit, scholarly communications, discount on registrations for meetings. Membership for undergraduate students is $28.
And I just wanted to make mention, we thought it would be a good investment to take the bulk of the money and spend it on the American Chemical Society. As it turns out, Bronx Community College already has a chapter for the American Chemical Society. They have an entire module or section just for undergraduate research. We thought this would be a good way to get students familiar with service, networking opportunities, the ability to just get engaged with a professional organization. We thought it would be really great. And the students were grateful and thankful for that. So, all right, questions and discussion. So at this point, we asked if Kenneth and or Jill would compile any questions in the chat, and we'll try to answer them to the best of our ability. I'm showing 2:55 our time. So we've got how many more minutes? About maybe.
We have about 10 more minutes.
Okay.
And okay, we have some questions coming in. Jill?
Great. Yeah, let me start with a question that came in. If I understand correctly, Chem 12 is required of all students. It is also a prerequisite for higher level chem classes, which I assume are required for certain degrees. It seems that students who are later expected to pass higher level chem courses are also having trouble with Chem 12. So do you expect the course redesign to encourage students with these more advanced courses ahead of them to continue on their selected career path with greater confidence in their ability to handle these future courses?
I would say yes, but that's more.
Okay, Carl, I would like to take that question. The answer is yes. Teach as I teach Chem 12. One thing also, I have colleagues who's teaching the previous chemistry courses, and also the student. I have colleagues who's teaching organic chemistry. What they tell us, as we mentioned in our talk, the students who are struggling with the Chem 12, when they go to the advanced courses, they struggle. If we can't redesign it with the help of Carl, will help the student to do the writing better, and to the peer mentors, that will help them when they go to the next advanced courses.
And also just keep in mind, remember I'm embedded as the librarian in this class, so I'm with them all throughout. And it was important that students realize that once they've completed this class and moved on to the next class, that they can still rely on the library. Very, very important that students understand the role that the library plays in their education. And we wanted to try to demonstrate to the world that STEM and library science can collaborate and do wonderful things. Students do so much better when they see the different departments working together and we're all on the same page. One of the issues we saw and we continue to see is that we work in silos, each department. And I think if there's more transparency across the curriculum, the better the library can serve both faculty and students. You know, so as librarians, you know that we're not just serving just the students. Sometimes teaching faculty need support. And we thought that this would be a great opportunity to do this. And we're writing a paper on this as we speak, and we're hoping to have it published by next year. But in the paper, we're discussing many of the things that we will do differently. We would definitely want to add another peer mentor to it, but information literacy is, oh, and then we're also thinking of making a connection to a number of the four-year institutions that many of our students will matriculate into once they've obtained their associate's degree. So in the New York area, a part of CUNY, we have Hunter College and Lehman College and all of these other four-year institutions. We want to establish lines of communications with those librarians there so that they can help welcome those students and keep them on pace, keep them on task, and say, well, look, EBSCO is available at Bronx, but it's also available at Hunter. Or if you go to UCLA for that matter, they use some of the same databases there as well.
So was there, did you continue this collaboration over the past year during remote learning or
Right.
during kind of changes? And what was there anything that you had to do differently?
So COVID came along and we sort of put this project on the back burner. It's not until now that we realized, you know, we just recently got tenure and we're really happy about that. But we decided, why don't we just come back together and follow up on what we were doing? Let's write about this project. And so that's what we're doing now, but we didn't put anything, we didn't apply for another grant. We are considering strongly applying for another grant, not necessarily this coming fall, but perhaps next spring when we're close to completing this paper. And we're also considering presenting this project to our curriculum committee. We have a curriculum committee at Bronx Community College. And when professors want to offer a new class or an experimental class or make major revisions to a class, they bring it to the curriculum committee. And we're considering offering the idea that maybe we'd like to offer this style of teaching, all of the pedagogy that we put into it and all of these extracurricular things, we'd like to offer that as a permanent class and see how people respond to it. Now, we know that there might be resistance. Not all of the librarians at Bronx Community College are as enthusiastic as I am, and we don't want to give the impression, well, you know, we're doing it and look, the administration loves it, now you have to do it. So we need to keep all of that in mind as we move forward. But we definitely are looking for, we will consider writing another grant, adding an additional peer mentor, and then of course the information literacy, the library science, and all of the things that I'm trying to pass on to the students, including the framework. And if that handout is in the chat, you all see that it's summarized. And it's a lot easier for non-librarians to digest, we thought. When looking at the framework itself, it can be overwhelming. And then also, there were 2 links that we asked to upload to the chat for the American Chemical Society. So we wanted to focus on the undergraduate research and what the American Chemical Society is just such an amazing resource because of all that it has to offer. And so much of the skills and the things that we try to teach in the library overlap into what the American Chemical Society does and their learning outcomes and the things that they do. But most importantly, we want students to be engaged, to be excited, and they were. So they never had this much fun, and then the peer mentors were, well, they taken the class, but they were closer in age to the students, that early 20-something-year-old. And I have a feeling that there was a connection between the students and the peer mentors that we probably couldn't make. I guess 20-year-olds communicate in their own way. That's just a theory. But yeah, we had fun. And the peer mentors, well, it was a win-win for many. It was preparing them for the world of work. It was giving them experience. We wrote letters of recommendation on their part. It improved their learning as well. And it was just such a great experience for all. People were happy with it. And so, yeah. And once again, the library shines because people never think. They generally think library and the humanities, perhaps the social sciences, but they never think biology or physics. But there's a lot of research in those disciplines. And I think that it can be done at the undergraduate level. I think that's so important, exposing undergraduate students to the kind of thinking that they're going to need to have once they get to the four-year school, and perhaps even when they go on for their master's degree, those habits of mind. Bronx Community College, you probably know that we are one of the poorest congressional districts in the country. As you can imagine, we have one of the highest COVID rates. There's a lot of poverty here. I live in the Bronx. Many of our students are coming from high schools. They are lacking so many skills, and we need to do a lot of catching up. We need to get them caught up. I hate to use the word remediation because it means something needs to be fixed. That's the language that's been used. I love teaching. My second master's is in adolescent education, special education. And so anytime there's an opportunity for teaching or adapting curricula or making curricula more student-centered. So this is the direction that we're going. More student-centered teaching and learning and making it more fun. And we thought that this would make it more meaningful for them. The idea of them getting to go out into the community and interview a nurse or interview a pharmacist, to get them to see this is what you're going to be doing in a few years if everything goes well, right? And we tried to bring that element into an undergraduate course. And I think a lot of people probably never thought of doing it. Keep in mind, the chemistry content itself is labor intensive. But writing across the curriculum, I think is so great because it gives them an opportunity to practice their reading and writing and critical thinking skills. But that's a CUNY-wide initiative. And it's a chemistry class, but there's a lot of writing that was involved, and we took advantage of that and used the library to bridge the writing. And then, of course, the handouts, there's also another. So the databases that are there, I don't know, can everyone see them for the ones that were able to, okay, I'm hoping you're able to upload those. Info-based completely rocks. It is one of the, I just completely love it on so many levels. There's also CQ Researcher and a lot of these others, but we wanted databases that were specific to science research. And those three, because they're so interactive and engaging and colorful, and there's audio and visual and there are videos and all of this stuff. And so it's designed specifically for the way young adults think now. Right, so that's why we used them. Okay.
Yeah, those were all posted in the chat to share out. And thank you both so much for sharing your work with us. This was a great session. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. This is great. Maybe next year we'll be able to present again and have completed our paper. This is a wonderful summit, conference, symposium. It's just so great. And many thanks to everyone.
Great, thank you, and hope you can see the kudos in the chat as well. Yes. An amazing project. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Stay in touch. Thank you for everybody. Thank you.
Take good care. Thank you, Kenneth. Be well. Thank you, Jill.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.